Alright, what's up you guys? Welcome to another episode of SHARKREALM, as today we have an exclusive first look at none other than Noob Saibot or Bihan from the upcoming Mortal Kombat 2 movie sequel. So this comes from the website Collider, as I will have the link in the description below. So I'm going to briefly just go over this just because we finally get a better look at I don't know what you guys want to call him. I like to call him Noob Saibot just because that's traditionally how I grew up with. A lot of people say Noob from the older games. That's after John Tobias left. And now this movie is calling him Bihan. But I'm going to say Noob Saibot for all you old school MK fans. So we got this first official look, or should I say a better, clearer image of how Noob Saibot looks in the movie. And I will say the only thing we have based off of is Noob Saibot's first introduction in Mortal Kombat Annihilation, in which he came out of Ermac, which if you pause the scenes because it's a little harder to see, you'll see that Noob Saibot looks very terrible. It's just like the quality of his outfit was like, looks like they just gave it in the last, I don't know, it took him like 10 minutes to make just to throw him in the movie. And then Noob Saibot also made an appearance in Mortal Kombat Conquest, the 1998 TV show. And although in that series he was like made up of oil, his costume actually looked a little bit, I don't want to say better, but it had a different charm to it. So not great by any means, but he had like a menacing, weird look to it. So I kind of liked it, but it still sucked. So now we have our third interpretation of Noob Saibot in the upcoming Mortal Kombat 2 movie sequel. So they have, this whole article about talking about Noob Saibot and how he comes into the Mortal Kombat games, his slight origin story, and how he was fighting Hanzo Hasashi, aka Scorpion, and then kind of going over the origins of the name of Ed Boon and John Tobias, etc., etc. And then we're talking about his introduction into the new Mortal Kombat movie. So they're talking more about the costume, in which, it says he is a fan favorite and mysterious character who demands a costume design that captures the game's aesthetic. So to kind of briefly go over, they're just saying how he was designed based off of more of Mortal Kombat 1, kind of a little bit of Mortal Kombat 11, but more Mortal Kombat 1, the video game. And then it says, I always wanted much detail as possible in every costume, and Bihan was no exception. Copy's clever use of different textures and finishes created a sense of variations of how light reflected as he moved through the space. The final design made it to the screen, borrowed heavily from Mortal Kombat 1, the Chaos Reigns expansion that brought Noob Saibot to the game, and that outfit mixed both reflective armor and traditional Lin Kuei ninja outfit. So again, we have a lot of mixing and matching here, which is not bad. It's pretty good. I have no complaints there. However, as a diehard Mortal Kombat 1995 movie fan, I always preferred my ninjas to be more simplistic, more just easier to appreciate and enjoy, rather than having all this bulky armor and super, intense designs. But, that's just kind of how it is now. But that's okay. Then it says, to translate his distinctive Shadow Wraith look into the film, we drew most of our inspiration from recent versions of the game. Then it says his body was made of low gloss texture, black rubber under skin, while his armor was organic in style and features a dark gray pearlescent reflective finish. The shadow clone within him is a different character, so he needed a different costume and color. But they shared materials, ensuring his unique look was clearly separated from the shadow clone while always being born in the same character. We've seen most of this character be more shining a lot more in Mortal Kombat Deception, as we had the two clones kind of fighting in those situations. So I thought that's kind of like my introduction to the clone style of Noob Saibot. However, looking at the actual image here, hopefully, maybe if I can click on it, it'll be bigger. There you go. This image reminds me a lot of the introduction in the 1995 film of Mortal Kombat, where Sub-Zero and Scorpion were introduced by Shang Tsung on the boat, on the lower part of the boat, and Scorpion had that very menacing and intense eyes, and that was probably like the greatest introduction to Scorpion. So this kind of gives me that vibes with the with the white contacts, and then we can see like the hood piece, and then Joe Taslim looks cool, and we got a little bit shoulder spikes and the armor piece, and plus the face mask looks very well detailed. I can't really tell the Lin Kuei style armor at the moment just because of how the design is for this, but it does look really, really cool. So otherwise, I'm very excited to see how he will play, because this will be the first time we see Noob Saibot actually becoming a badass in these movies, whereas all the other versions were complete ass. But yeah, so hopefully we get enough screen time of him and not just like a quick little fight scene. Hopefully we get some origins, and of course we're gonna have to see how Quan Chi plays a role into this, because again, Quan Chi plays a pivotal role if you've played Mortal Kombat 4 within the storyline of Noob Saibot, Sub-Zero, and Scorpion. So you want to definitely check that out if you don't know some Mortal Kombat history. But then it also says, by looking cool and accurate on their own costumes, we also made their environment in mind. Let's see here. In the Fires of Netherrealm, McCoy believes that the new outfit makes the visuals of the fight pop more against the hellish backdrop, so that's good. So this movie seems a lot more colorful, which visually is great for the aesthetic of the second Mortal Kombat film. And then it says they don't want the result to be visually cluttered, as the Scorpion versus Bi-Han fight, so he's called Bi-Han, not Noob Saibot in this movie, fights in Netherrealm was complex. We used different colors to take from his powers in the games and help the audience distinguish between the characters. Dark purple for his shadow and dark graphite gray for him. So again, it's very similar to Mortal Kombat Deception, but then obviously in the more other games moving forward. It wasn't entirely smooth sailing in designing the Wraith Warrior while bringing Noob's bone-breaking clone to life. The most challenging aspect of his design is his long-sided hat. Alright, so blah blah blah. Then it says... Whoa. Then it says... The faithful... so we are getting... So again, it says Scorpion, Sub-Zero, Noob Saibot's bitter rivalry may not be the focal point as Earthrealm prepares for its fateful tournament in Outworld, but Ed Boon assured that they'll be very essential to Mortal Kombat 2, adding all the more incentive nail downs and nail down the line incentive to nail down the little details. Okay, so we can already get an idea that Noob Saibot and Scorpion are not going to have the main emphasis of the movie, so it just seems very clearly that we're going to have the emphasis on the entire tournament, but then at the same time we will also see them kind of duking it out in the background, which hopefully plays a good role, because again, there's a lot of characters in this film, so hopefully we get something great out of it. But otherwise, just like how the first movie, Sub-Zero and Scorpion didn't really interact at all until we got to the last ending of the film, so hopefully this shouldn't be the same exact scenario, and we got to see how Quan Chi plays into it. Otherwise, costume looks really great, and can't wait to see how it looks. And yeah, it looks pretty cool. So let me know in the comments below what you guys think about this, at least first look, and hopefully we'll have more Mortal Kombat 2 updates as the movie will be released on October 24th, 2025. Till then, I'll see you guys all in the next episode.